So that's why light can't go into a black hole, because even light can't escape the gravitational pull of it. So that's why we know they're there, because we can measure the energy from around them.
And the only way of measuring it is the
energy ring.
The energy ring that's
everything
on the
being
outside.
pulled in and burning up.
So you measure your black hole by the energy ring on the outside. Yeah. Some of the world's greatest mysteries include the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Were they real? What really goes on in the Bermuda Triangle? But more importantly, what are the KFC 11 herbs and spices? I have tried everything in my power to get KFC to tell me what the 11 herbs and spices are, but with no avail. So, KFC have changed the game and they've sent me to meet some people with their very own mysteries and try to get them talking. From crop circles to secret societies and many other mysteries, I've been sent to try and find out if these people can find a common ground which leads to the truth.
I'm Andy Moore, I'm from Manchester, and I believe in the multiverse, which is multi-facets of a parallel universe.
Hi, I'm Paul Vickers, I'm from Milton Keynes, and I believe in the infinite universe, which is a never-ending expanse in time and space.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Will Richards, back once again with KFC for some more KFC mysteries. And these gents have got some theories and opinions about the universe. But before we delve into that, we have some KFC questions. First question goes to you. Gravy or beans?
Beans.
Of course. Yourself?
Beans.
Yeah, okay. I would have gone gravy myself, but hey, each to their own. A fillet or a zinger burger?
Ooh, zinger burger.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
About yourself?
Got to agree with the man there.
Next up, we have got legs or breast?
Legs.
Yeah.
Breast.
Your breast man, eh?
Yeah.
Right, we have got the delving deep questions now. The icebreakers are out the way, and these ones are getting a bit personal. Do you think the universe could ever be destroyed?
Well, I wish you hadn't asked me that question, because I'm afraid I think it could. Us multiverses believe in multiple Big Bangs. It's not good, is it, for us?
The theory of the Big Bang is basically inflation, right? But if you don't believe in the inflation, you're kind of forever growing, forever. The infinite universe is what I believe in.
Yeah.
I do feel at one point that we're going to have too much mass and it will contract like a balloon. You know when you blow up a balloon and then you breathe in, it starts coming back on itself.
Yeah.
And then that will be another singularity, which is basically a big black hole sucking everything in, and then it will just burst. I feel like people believe in parallel universes because of the string theory and how quarks work. So apparently if you look at quarks, they react one way, but then if you're not looking at them, they react a different way. So then they mean...
What's quark?
That's your ream there.
Within atoms, there's shapes. Now, to make that table, you've got to have certain shape things within the atoms.
Yeah.
And the other shapes make other things, you know, like the air.
Right.
But there's certain shapes that they can't explain. But whatever they're creating exists. And they can only assume that is outside of the universe.
So what makes you think there isn't multiple universes?
There's no evidence to suggest otherwise. The only evidence, like I said earlier, was the quarks when they behave differently when they're not being watched.
Right.
In my opinion, that's the only evidence you could even say, and even then it's a stretch.
Don't forget, there's no evidence to say that the universe is infinite.
But then that does prove that it is infinite because you can't measure it or calculate its size, so therefore by definition it's infinite.
Well, the multiverses even think that the universe itself the inflation isn't even. So it's inflating at certain sides more than it is at the others and bursting off into its own pockets. So I understand you thinking that it's infinite, but that within that infiniteness, that means there's other universes. Why not? You know, the Big Bang, they believe, isn't necessarily a one-off event.
What is a black hole, and where do you think they lead to?
A black hole is a star that's collapsed in on itself, and it's still got all its mass, and all that mass, there's no outward centrifugal force anymore, all that mass is condensed into a small space, but it still has the gravitational pull. Or more, does it have more gravitation?
Way more
than what it did as a star, yeah. And light can't even.
And that's why things go flying into them.
Yeah, so that's why light can't go into a black hole, because even light can't escape the gravitational pull of it. So that's why we know they're there, because we can measure the energy from around them.
And the only way of measuring it is the
energy ring.
The
outside.
energy ring that's
Everything
on the
being
outside.
pulled
Right.
in and burning up. And
So you measure your black hole by the energy ring on the outside.
Yeah.
If you believe the universe is infinite, does that make time linear?
it does in certain aspects.
Right.
It means the universe and its time is linear, but then there are ways around it in subtle ways. So if you get like for black holes, for example, they're theorized that if you get too much close to a high enough gravitational pull that you can actually reverse time. It's the closer you are to gravity, isn't it? The slower. No, it's the further away you are.
Do you want me to get started on time?
Yes, please, go for time.
Time doesn't exist. It's a man-made measure. Motion exists, and a planet goes from there to there. Time is what we decided to measure as it gets there and there. I always wanted to have this argument with Stephen Hawkins.
With Steve.
Ever got some bad news for you, Steve?
Yeah.
Have you ever considered that time might not exist? It's just a measure, you know. I think space exists, but they always talk about the fabric of space and time, don't they? And I just think space is there, and movement, cause and effect. Aging is cause and effect. It's the body replicating itself incorrectly, like a video recording of a video recording of a video recording. But time does not exist. Wait for that to come and be found.
Okay.
Definitely does. We have thermodynamics, entropy, and fair enough, it is a measurement, which we get, but entropy is basically thermodynamics, and it's from a. So if you are like us, human, we have a low.
You assume.
We assume that we're human. I hope we are. Hope we are in this room. But you are of low entropy, so that means you cannot move around your atoms or your body in any other way than what is now, because you wouldn't be human or whatever. You'd be like an octopus or something.
Right.
But then if you take a grain of sand that has high entropy, or not a grain of sand, or like a pile of sand, you can move around that pile of sand as much as you want, it will still be a pile of sand. So therefore it has high entropy.
Okay.
So we're going, in this universe, from an organized state to a low organized state, low entropy. So therefore, that's the linearage of time.
I know that they say that a nuclear clock is affected by a certain orbit, but I really do, and then I think it's a millisecond or something like that, I really do believe that something else is at play there. And I do think that the astronomy fraternity will one day draw the conclusion that it's just a measure, like we measure radiation with a Geiger counter. And I don't think time. Have you seen anybody come back and see us from the future?
Well, that's only if time travel's possible, right?
Seen the movie?
Yeah.
All three.
Hot tub time machine, right?
I agree with you, it's a measurement, but we need it to measure something, which is the entropy.
You're measuring cause and effect. You're measuring movement.
You need measurements to measure things, otherwise you never get anything done.
You're measuring change, honestly.
So if you get a contractor coming into your house
Yeah.
to put in flooring, and he starts measuring the floor, you don't walk up to him saying, that's a measurement, it doesn't exist.
Time as our man-made concept exists. All it is based on the time that it takes the Earth to revolve. And we say, that's 24 hours.
What convinced you of your theory that you are right?
There's nothing that's saying that I'm right, and there's nothing that's saying Paul's right, because they're out of our observable universe.
Of course, but so why did you choose yours and why did Paul choose his?
Because of observing the nature of the universe. Is that you get
You see more than
a
one.
solar system. You get a solar system. Why lock down on just what we can see? Because we got as far as the solar system, then we started observing that other stars are actually other suns. Then there's galaxies, and there's billions of them. So why wouldn't there be another universe?
I mean, like I said earlier, there is a notion that it can be real. Well, it can be true because of the quarks and how they react and don't react. But the fact that you can't prove it, but you can...
Can't prove the infinite universe.
But you can prove it by definition of being infinite, because you can't measure it. So that's how it is infinite.
The hardest thing overall for me to witness is I don't disbelieve it with you, but I can't believe it with you at the same time because we have no evidence. Which does lead me to say that I believe that the universe is entirely made of marshmallow and nobody can disprove me because you can't prove it's right or wrong.
What flavour?
What's your
Marshmallow.
favourite? Yeah.
Yeah, marshmallow.
Yeah, that'd be my favourite. Mainly just sugar, I think, really.
Sugar, yeah.
But anyway, I think we've done fairly well here. We've been very amicable gents.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the current situation, we can't shake hands.
No.
So, if you'd like to grab this side of the bucket, and you'd like to grab this side, and if we shake bucket, fantastic. Well done, gents. Thank you very much.
Yeah. We're going to wing it.
Yeah, we can wing it later. Nothing wrong with a little KFC wing it, eh? There you go. Right, okay, that's been it for this episode. Catch us for the next one. Thank you very much. I've been Will Richards.
I've been Andy Moore.
And I've been Paul Vickers.
Thanks very much. See you soon.